What's up, guys? Readiness Rations here with you again. We are live, or at least I hope we're live. Today we will be doing a ration review. This is a U.S. meal cold weather. These rations are specifically designed for extreme cold climates, and so they contain freeze-dried items that don't freeze in those cold climates like a normal MRE would. Before we get into it here, I want to make sure that I welcome all you guys to the stream. Thanks so much for hopping in. I see Rusty in the chat, Cliff, Jerem's MRE is here. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me. We will go ahead and get in to this ration because it's going to take a little bit to prepare. So these bags are pretty much the same as a U.S. military meal ready to eat. A thick, heavy meal plastic with a pillable seal, as you can see there. This is the main entree that I was talking about that was freeze-dried. Freeze-dried breakfast skillet by Mountain House. That comes in at a very light 3.18 ounces, but is rehydrated with 8 ounces of hot water. Looks like we get a 240 calorie pack of sugar cookies patriotic. These feel a little bit broken, but not completely. I've never actually had this before. Instant oatmeal, strawberries, and cream. That sounds really good. This pack seems really large too. Chocolate protein powder drink. 280 calories on that. A 2-pack of plain tortillas. And a 1-ounce package of jalapeno cheese spread, my absolute favorite cheese spread. So I guess what we're supposed to do here is sort of construct a breakfast burrito is what it looks like. Of course, we do get a standard U.S. military MRE spoon. And then we also have this accessory package. The whole reason for this live stream is to celebrate the channel finally hitting 10,000 subscribers. That's a milestone that I never thought that we would hit on the Ration channel. Of course, I do have a gun channel as well, and the gun channel is up to about 25,000 subscribers, so it's a little bit ahead, but it has been from the beginning. We have a pack of Tabasco in our accessory pack. pack of matches, some Lighthouse toilet paper, sugar, moist towelette, non-dairy coffee creamer, a pack of Bill's Brew freeze-dried coffee, and a 2-pack of chewing gum. So we're going to get right into our main entree here because it is going to take the longest to rehydrate. These are vacuum sealed, and we can really hear the air rushing out of that upon cutting into it. Typically, a meal cold weather has an entree that calls for 12 to 16 ounces of water. These breakfast menus called for a little bit less. This one was only 8 ounces. That looks to be all hash brown on the top there. It's like they took one of those frozen hash browns and pretty much freeze-dried it and broke it up a little bit. Kind of like a McDonald's hash brown. And I'm not really seeing much else in there that is discernible besides a flake of green bell pepper and red bell pepper maybe. I do see a sausage crumble or two. I'm gonna go ahead and grab one of those right quick, if I can get my hands on one. Quite fumbly. I always like to try the meat in these freeze-dried menus before rehydrating. So down the hatch with that one. Salty, light and crispy, but pretty light on flavor overall. I think it'll probably be better rehydrated. I see a big chunk of egg in there too, so there is, of course, scrambled egg in this. I have some extremely hot water here. I'm going to measure up 8 ounces because that's what it called for. And pour that right in. I was a little bit skeptical about doing a live review of an MCW because they take so much preparation. This is the kind of thing that I would normally be able to skip through pretty quickly in the editing process, but we don't really have that luxury doing it live like this. This is putting off some pretty good aroma now that the water's hit it. I'm smelling the sausage and I'm smelling the potato. That seems to already be thickening up pretty nicely. Seal that up a little bit and let that do its rehydration. And we'll start opening some of our other items here. We'll look at these tortillas. That is a 2-pack of relatively small tortillas, although they do look like they are in outstanding condition. And these smell really great, just like a tortilla that you would expect from a grocery store or whatever. That's basically what these are. Typically, in a review, I keep my area a bit organized, but since we're doing it live, things are going to be all over the place. Rip into these patriotic sugar cookies. The tear notch is right in the middle of the package, which is kind of odd. I've had these before, and the entire package was nothing but cookie dust. These do appear to not be in the worst shape ever. There was a do not eat in there, which of course we are not going to eat. And I guess we'll get our drinks going here. This package of chocolate protein drink feels to be very full. This little line on the outside is supposed to be our fill line. This one does call for 8 ounces of water. Which just happens to be about half of this bottle. Zip the seal, give it a couple folds over so we don't make a mess, hopefully. And this is going to require a lot of shaking. So yeah, it's definitely a different experience doing these reviews live like this. I tend to hide behind editing. I, of course, make lots of mistakes. And I'm still going to make mistakes doing it live, but this go around you guys get to see them. Hopefully it's not too bad, though. maybe that is shaken enough. Looks a little bit chunky, but we'll pour that in a glass here. Oh yeah, I actually see chunks kind of falling out of there. I can still feel undissolved powder, so I'm going to go in for another splash of water right quick. And one last shake to sort of pick all that up. Much better. That both looks and smells pretty good. Now I've had the oatmeal from Mountain House in the MCW before that was blueberry, but I've never run across the strawberry one. It is a very large package, so I suppose you're supposed to eat out of the package. There are little chunks of strawberry in there. I'll grab one of those to try it out. Very sweet and a little bit tart. I do prefer my oatmeal warm, so we're going to add some hot water to this as well. That's probably enough. And like our main entree, that will need some time to rehydrate. I'm already working up a thirst, so I guess we'll go in for a drink of our protein shake to open things up. Gritty. You can feel yourself biting into the sugar. The flavor on this is nice though. It's quite chocolatey, and the chocolate flavor that it does have, although not the best, is pretty good. I think if I shook that for maybe another 2 or 3 minutes, the overall experience would be a little bit better. But as is, that's a good item taste-wise, and the added protein is always welcome in my opinion. A lot of times these military rations can lack in protein, surprising as that may be. I think we probably still need to give this main a little more time. Typically the rehydration is like 10 minutes, and I don't think we've quite made it to that point yet. So while we're sitting here, I will mention that we are doing a couple giveaways tonight. I'm going to do at least 2, and you still have time to get entered in one of those giveaways if you go comment on the video right now. So there is a short video posted on the channel announcing this live stream basically, and in that video I let you guys know that I was holding a live stream and that we will be doing giveaways in the live stream. If you want to be entered into the giveaway that we will do on this live stream, go comment on that video on the channel. Of course, if you're watching this on the rewind, all this has already happened, and unfortunately, you weren't able to be part of it if you didn't comment on that video. But what I will be giving away for sure is one of the newest U.S. rations, the Survivor Daily Ration. I very recently did a full review on this 24-hour ration pack. These are very similar to the American Humanitarian Daily Ration. That's basically what it is, just in a different package. These are the new FEMA-approved ration they are making tons of, apparently. And within one case, every single menu is exactly the same. So I bought a case of 10 of these. I reviewed 1, and so I have 9 left over, and I don't need 9 of the same menu. So I figured it was a perfect one to give out to you guys. Whoever wins one of these will also be getting some other things from me. but this will be a guaranteed item for sure. And like I said, I'm going to pull at least 2 winners, maybe even more. So you have to stick around till later in the stream for that. Now I think that we're going to take a look at the entree here. It looks to have absorbed the water at least. The last time that I did one of these MCWs that had eggs, it was a sloppy, wet mess. But this menu having potatoes in it, I think is going to be a lot more absorbative, and I'm not going to have all that water like I did with just the plain egg menu. This is giving off a really nice aroma now. I was not expecting much from this one, but, you know, Mountain House is usually pretty good. Typically, I consider the Mill Cold Weather better than the other American ration options. I think they are superior to the MRE. They're typically better than the First Strike ration, which honestly isn't that hard to do. The First Strike ration is more of a snack pack than it is a meal pack. This looks really good though, and seems to be decently well rehydrated. The only way to know for sure is going to be to actually try something, so I guess we'll go in for a big old spoonful here of bell peppers, sausage, potato, egg. I think there's some onion in there. Give that a shot. It might not be all the way rehydrated, but it's pretty close. It's well salted. The sausage in this is very mild tasting. I think there's more potato than anything, and unfortunately, the potato has sort of rehydrated the worst. It's a little bit mushy, and it sometimes has a little bit of an odd bite to it. But overall, it's pretty good. This particular bite right here is all egg. And my experience with freeze-dried egg hasn't been the best. But we'll see if it's better in this situation. That was only about half rehydrated. So maybe it needed a little bit more water, or possibly a little bit more time. But the good thing about this menu is that it tastes okay by itself, but you don't really have to have it by itself because we have our other items like our little shell here. So we'll simply take some of our eggy breakfast mousse here with sausage and hash brown potatoes. Put it on the tortilla, and that is not complete without a little bit of my absolute favorite MRE cheese spread, the jalapeno cheese spread. I hate that these are only 1 ounce now. They used to be 1.5 ounces. And we'll cheese that up a little bit. Eggs and cheese and jalapeno all go together very well. And now we're working with a little bit of a breakfast taco. About to choke. The cheese spread adds a really nice creaminess to the mix that it didn't really have before. The jalapeno flavor is really punchy and adds some really nice spice. Realizing that that has the spice that it does makes me want to pump that up even more. So I think this is a perfect time to dig into a bit of our Tabasco here. These little bottles of Tabasco are pretty much only in Mill Cold Weathers these days. They've replaced them in the standard MREs. But it's cool to know that they are still out there. This Mill Cold Weather that I'm eating today is from 2021 actually. And that looks pretty good with that Tabasco. Tabasco has a very complementary flavor to other breakfast flavors. And so I think this is going to be pretty good. Yeah, fantastic. As I said, this menu was a little bit bland as is, but once you add in all the other items to kind of pump the flavor up and eat it on the tortilla, it is really, really good. This might be the best breakfast MRE that I've ever run across. I prefer this to the hash brown in the regular MREs. It's definitely better than the egg and bacon Mountain House breakfast from MCW's. It's really good. It must be because I only have one bite here left. This was, of course, my dinner tonight. And we'll chase that with some more of a protein drink. Tasty, but maybe not the best thirst quencher necessarily. Babe, would you like to try a bite of this?
Oh, well, somebody just mentioned that.
Get on over here.
I'll take a bite.
So this is, of course, my lovely wife. And she happens to be a big fan of potatoes and sausage. Go ahead, I'll let you get your own spoonful there. She is not a fan of eggs. No. And I definitely think freeze-dried eggs are a step down from normal eggs, so we'll see what she thinks.
Yep. Needs like 3 times the amount of Tabasco on there to make it worth anything.
Do you want to try it with a bit of Tabasco and cheese spread?
I would love that.
Okay, so we'll put some Tabasco just straight on this. I'm going to eat all this anyway, so I might as well just Tabasco the whole thing.
Do it. It's very fluffy.
Yeah.
Not much flavor in there.
Put a big splooge of our cheese spread on there. And I'll get you this bite. Make sure it's not too much cheese spread. All right. That's a pretty sizable bite there.
Oh boy. I don't know if I can eat that whole bite, but we'll try. Tabasco saves it. Actually pretty good with the Tabasco. And cheese.
Can't go wrong with cheese and Tabasco.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to get another bite myself. You know, a lot of times in these reviews, I'm checking out really old, possibly disgusting stuff. It's a nice change to be able to have something that's super fresh and really tasty, but still be a military ration. I still have some hot water, so I guess we'll get the coffee going here. Give me a little energy boost. If I ever needed one, it would be while we're live, right? So this Bill's Brew is a freeze-dried coffee. It's very similar to something like a Taster's Choice. Or the Coffee Instant Type 3. I will use the creamer as well. And the full pack of sugar because I like it sweet. It's Saturday and we're celebrating. About roughly 6 ounces of hot water to this. Otherwise, you stand the chance of diluting it too much and it doesn't taste like anything. And although this water's been sitting for a little bit, that is still too hot to drink just now. So we'll revisit that in a minute. I want to see what this oatmeal is doing. Strawberries and cream. And it looks to have absorbed every bit of water that I put in there. The strawberries, though, look nicely rehydrated. Uh-oh, there's still some powder. And it is super clumpy. There's a decent amount of strawberries in the mix. hit that with one more quick splash of water here. And we'll give that a quick mix. Hope everyone's having a good evening. If you haven't eaten yet, hopefully you're enjoying your evening meal soon. Let me know in the chat what you guys are having for dinner tonight, and if it's as interesting as what I'm having. It's rare that I run across an MRE item, whether it be in a mill cold weather or otherwise, that I have not experienced before, and this oatmeal is certainly that. And that looks like perfectly textured oatmeal to me, very thick, and the distribution difference between the oats and the fruit is darn impressive. There's a lot of strawberries in this. And get a big spoonful of that, and down the hatch we go. Very smooth and creamy, sweet, has just a little bit of tartness. The strawberry flavor really comes through. Babe, I hate to call you away again, but you gotta try this one.
That's right.
To me, this is far and away better than the main entree. The main entree is good, like I said, once you put the cheese and stuff on it, but this oatmeal is really good. And the serving size is admirable. That's a lot of oatmeal.
It's pretty good.
Would you like a taste of the chocolate drink while you're over here?
Of course. That's chunky.
Yeah.
It's good though. I like it. Oops. You done with your hot water?
Yeah, I believe so.
Take it away.
Thank you. Sorry for the pause here. It's always weird getting my thoughts between our little individual segments. I do have the coffee, and I think it's cooled off enough to at least try. I'm sweating. It's hot. It's still summertime. I don't know why I chose to do a mill cold weather, which is a wintertime mill in the summer like this, but that's just the way it worked out. But we'll check out this Bill's brew. A little bit bitter, despite having the sugar added. I tried to be a little light on the water, so it didn't get watered down, but I think I might have put a little bit too much still. Maybe instead of 6 ounces, this Bill brew is better with like 5 ounces. It's still okay though. Not my favorite, but I don't hate it. It's just too darn hot to drink right now. We're actually making our way through these individual items pretty quickly here. Faster than I thought that we would. Guess we'll take a look at our patriotic cookies. Maybe I can pick a couple of these out. We can see exactly what they all look like. So this is the Liberty Bell, of course. That's a piece of Liberty torch. There's a nice American flag. There should be an Uncle Sam in here somewhere, but I don't see one right offhand. Maybe they're all broken up. But yeah, that's why they're patriotic, because they have patriotic depictions on them. I can't find the Uncle Sam, and I'm not sure what this is the bottom part of, but there would also be stars in there as well. Mostly everything's broken though. We'll take it down to just our American flag here. And let's try out our patriotic sugar cookie. They're a lot like a shortbread cookie. Crisp and crunchy. Sweet. Super fresh. You know, that gives me an idea. I think these are already broken up, so we should probably just like break some up on our oatmeal here. And this is going to make this oatmeal a lot more like a dessert. You already have that creamy sweet oats, but adding a little bit more like super sweet shortbread cookie on top is going to give it a little bit of crunch and should mix really well with that strawberry. Adding items, mixing items rather, in MRE or other military ration is a really great way to make them a little bit more diverse and interesting, and is a must if you're having to live off these things for any period of time. Otherwise, everything gets really boring. Give that one a shot. That is sweet, creamy, strawberry, really good. I think I'm actually going to use one of these cookies as sort of like a cracker almost and go in for a dip. Chips and dip, MRE style, although sweet. Delicious. That is really, really good. That even calls for a sip of coffee to wash it down. Well, my dear, you want to try a cookie or two?
Of course. Thank you.
You need to talk louder if you're all the way back there.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel patriotic?
So patriotic.
I'm going to get another couple bites here of our main entree. The eggs definitely needed some more water, but everything else is rehydrated as it should be. So that's a trade-off I'm willing to accept. Maybe a little bit, eggs that are a little bit under for everything else being pretty much perfect. And for the most part, I think that was our meal cold weather. I've tried everything, and I would say that this particular menu, menu number 12, Breakfast Skillet, is darn good. And probably the best breakfast that you can get in a U.S. military ration, in my opinion. I would prefer this to any of the other breakfast options I've tried so far, at least. And when we think about every individual component, everything goes together really well. The mix of the oatmeal and the cookies is really great. Even separate, they're tasty. And you can literally put every other item on the main and you're good to go. The drinks are squared away. I love chocolate drink. Have a little bit extra protein with it. That's a good thing. And you can never be mad at coffee, so that's a nice inclusion as well. If you were in a super cold environment, as long as you have access to hot water, this would be a really good meal and provide really great energy. Alright, so we're getting into the point of the review now to where I'm going to be doing a little bit more interaction with you guys. So if you have questions for me, go ahead and start dropping them in the chat because we're going to do Q&A here in a little bit. My wife will sort of write them down and we'll regurgitate them here in a little bit and talk about them. DeCarlos, I see you in the chat. Welcome, buddy. I'm glad you were able to make it. Same thing with everyone that's here watching this live. We have about 45 of you right now. That is very impressive. I never expect anyone to want to see me just sit around and talk about things and eat. Like, I'm sort of weird that that I've attracted the audience that I have. I mean, never in a million years would I have thought that I'd be worthy of 10,000 subscribers. And of course, it's taken so long, a couple years at this point, that most of those subscribers have probably no longer watching, but there's enough of you around to where the channel is still going and growing. And my past few videos have performed very well. I still haven't hit a 100,000 view video on the channel yet, but that most recent Polish 24-hour ration is performing very well. I think it's up to nearly 60,000 views now. And a couple of the other 24-hour international ration videos have performed very well, in my opinion, better than I ever thought possible. So I want to say a huge thank you to you guys for the continued viewership and interacting with the channel and all that. Don't forget to share the videos to like-minded individuals if you think somebody else might like it, because it's really hard to get the YouTube algorithm to push the content out to lots of people. It's a lot easier if, you tell a friend and they tell a friend kind of thing. But I appreciate the views all the same. I do think we will go ahead and do one of our giveaways. Hopefully you guys have entered the giveaway at this point. I'm not sure why it's not showing my Chrome tab. That's a problem. This was working just before the video, but hopefully I can get it fixed here. I think. There it is. I'm glad that didn't take too long, man. I was sweating. I'm not sweating just because I'm hot. I was sweating because I was afraid I didn't screw this whole thing up. But it looks like we're okay. So I have the URL for that video in the thing here. We're going to filter duplicate users in case somebody commented twice. Let's see. It wants us to answer a problem here. I believe the answer to that would be 11. And we will get YouTube comments. Uh-oh, looks like the page needs a refresh. We're running into one issue after another. That might mean that I have to get the URL again, which I do. Luckily, I have it in another tab. You guys will have to excuse the slowness and amateur operation we have going on here. It is a one-man operation, no producer, one crappy laptop computer, doing the best I can. Now we will once again get comments. Looks like we have 30 unique users. And as we scroll down here, we will pick a winner. Funk Maker 3182, looks like. He said, congrats on 10,000 subscribers. What's your favorite foreign ration? Well, I guess since you won the first giveaway here, I will answer your question. But before we do that, I will tell you that in order to claim your prize, you need to comment on this video. You need to send me an email to readinessreviews@gmail.com, and I will discuss it with you further to make sure that you are indeed who you are, because there are many scams about. But you will be getting a Survivor Daily Ration plus some other stuff from me, and I will figure out what else I will be sending to you here in the next couple days, so congratulations. As far as my favorite foreign ration goes, in flavor, in taste rather, I would say that French 24-hour rations are the overall best. I think they have the best combination of unique ingredients, different flavors and variety, and the overall quality just seems really good. Now, that's like painting broad strokes though, because personally I really like the Russian rations. The Russian rations don't have the diversity of the French rations or hardly any other 24-hour ration from around the world. All the European nations have really good, diverse rations. The Russian stuff is more straight down the line, the same sort of items repeated, but the items that the Russian rations have I really, really like. So it's hard for me not to say that Russian rations are my favorite, but I will say that in the long run, French rations are probably better, and I think they're my favorite probably. So thank you for the question, and congratulations again on the win. We will pull at least another winner before the end of the stream, so stick with me a little bit longer.
Would you like any questions?
I'm not quite ready for Q&A yet.
Okay.
I did want to do a little bit of shopkeeping. So it's been over a year now that I've been doing the Ration Rewind videos, where I'm sort of reposting the old ration reviews from my Readiness Reviews channel, which is of course now my gun channel. Back when it started, it was the first YouTube channel. I did both gun content and ration content on there, and then I broke the ration channel off into its own so everything could perform better given the way that YouTube works. And that's been great. It's been great for both channels. They've both grown exponentially since then, and I'm so grateful for that. But over the past, I think it's been about a year and a half now, I've been posting bi-weekly the videos from that old channel onto the new channel and been re-editing them. And you guys have been watching them a lot, and I really appreciate the viewership on that old content because it's not nearly as polished as my new stuff is. But I've tried to go through and re-edit them and make them as good as possible, give them new thumbnails and titles so people actually want to click on them. I still have about a year left on those videos. So I think through all of 2025, I'm going to have Ration Rewinds still coming out. And I'm still going to try to put out a brand new video every other week as well. So you'll still be getting Ration content every week on the channel for at least another year. You'll get a new video one week and then a Ration Rewind the next week, and it's going to go like that for a whole another 12 months, I suppose. Now, once we get early into 2026, maybe like the first month of 2026, I'm going to be out of those videos. There will be no more Ration Rewinds. And at that point, it's going to be really weird keeping the channel going with weekly content at least, because it is very hard for me to produce the bi-weekly content that I do now. Like, I'm always behind. I'm always at the last minute uploading. It takes forever to edit these videos, especially when it's a 24-hour ration. I'm just editing forever. It's awful. But when we get to that bridge, I've kind of planned ahead a little bit on like what I'm going to do, because I don't want to make you guys wait 2 weeks for a video, and I don't want to stop doing the channel altogether. So what I'm probably going to do is kind of keep recycling content a little bit, but it'll be in a way that I find fun. And I know we're talking like basically a year out at this point on us getting to what I'm speaking about, but I wanted to go ahead and key you guys in so maybe you guys can give me some opinions on what you think about it. That's really why I'm bringing it up to you. But I was thinking about doing more compilation videos, so maybe combining a few videos together to make more like long form. So if I have related reviews, like a few different subsequent like MREs that are similar, kind of cut them into one video so it's more long format. Maybe I can do more standalone content, like tier list rankings of military rations, because I know you guys always ask me, what's your favorite? I can do a couple videos like, these are the best rations from the world, given my experience, that kind of thing. If you guys have any other suggestions about what I could do to diversify the content a little bit, but still be in the niche of military rations, please let me know about it down in the comments. I would love to be able to read that if you guys have some good ideas. So thanks so much for sitting around for that. Now that I have spoken about that, we're going to do some Q&A. So hopefully you've submitted a few good questions, and my wife has written them down, and we'll go over those quickly, and I'll do some Q&A, and then we will draw another name. So if you're still sitting around for the drawing, you could still win. So what you got for me, babe?
So, first question comes from Minuteman. He was more of a suggestion. He said, do more episodes in the field. So, like rain, snow, the heat, nighttime, etc. It adds to the experience.
I love that suggestion, man. That's something I've wanted to do ever since I've started the channel. Like, when I started doing ration reviews in the first place, I wanted to do more in-field content, because I think that's what adds so much to the video as far as intrigue, and but it's really complex. Like, I really try to keep my production quality really high. I try to have a very quiet set with the best audio I can do, and it's really hard to get those things locked down when you're doing things in the field. I have one video on the channel right now that is me and my dog eating a ration in the woods, and it wasn't even that good of a performing video, so I don't know if everybody cares about that, but that's definitely content that I would want to do. I've wanted to do ever since I started the channel, and I would be shocked if I didn't at least do a few more reviews in that style in the future. So thanks, Man, for suggesting that, and that's been something that, in the back of my head for a long time. So yeah, I do want to do that for sure.
And I did mention in the comments that we had planned on doing a review up in North Georgia.
Yep.
while we're in the mountains?
We both like to hike, and we try to go on as many little mini trips as we can every single year. And so I have opportunities to do things, places. It's just I've always been more in the mind that like when I'm out there, like on a little vacation, or if I'm hiking or whatever, I kind of just want to be in the moment, not really living through my phone or whatever like I do the rest of the time. But I think it would be worth it for the content to at least try it a couple times.
Yeah. Next question comes from 007. He asked if you were a veteran.
I am not a veteran. I didn't serve in any way whatsoever, but I have the biggest appreciation for everyone who is a veteran and has served in one way or another.
And Germs asked, what was the Holy Grail ration and my worst ration and the best ration. So for me, the Holy Grail, I would like to try, like you said, a French one. I've had a couple samples of your French ones.
Yeah.
My worst ration was the pizza one. That one sucked. And the best one I've had was the Spanish one. That one had a lot of cool elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
But another question for you. Adam Dunphy asked, have you tried the Charms and old MCIs? I don't know what that is.
So I have not had a charm from an MCI, but I've had really old charms in MREs, and they pretty much just turn to liquid and are pretty disgusting in my opinion. I'm not a hard candy person, so even if I got fresh charms, I don't really think I would like them. But all the charms that I've run into that have any amount of age on them, whether it be from a brown bag or early tan bag MRE, they've always just been liquefied and pretty gross. It would be cool to find one that's like, in a can of an MCI, and that way it would be like way better preserved as long as it didn't encounter a lot of heat. But no, I haven't run across one yet, in an MCI at least.
Next question is from Cliff Brott.
Mm-hmm.
He asked, when it's your turn to cook, do you have MREs?
So, funny thing is, no. You might think, hey, this guy's weird. He eats MREs all the time. He's probably just like eats prefab food. He probably eats out of the freezer section, or everything has to be ready made. Actually, couldn't be further from the truth. I am a huge foodie. I love culinary everything. I am a big time cook myself, and I consider myself a very decent cook at the very least. I am well practiced, and I do my own meal preps weekly. I don't eat out, meals. The most eating out I do is special occasions, and then eating MREs from here and there. And that's kind of where the viewpoint I get for MRE reviews. They're more from a culinary standpoint than they are someone that's eating them to live off of them. And I think that's a good thing because it allows me, I can draw on my culinary knowledge to sort of break things down and understand ingredients and how they work together and things like that. But I absolutely love the culinary arts, and I'm a big time home cook, and I cook all the time and love it.
He's a good cook. Roy asked, what MCW is your favorite meal?
As far as milk cold weathers being my favorite, I think that the most interesting one that I've had is the clam chowder. There has actually been clam chowder in an MRE before, but in a retort pouch, the clam chowder was not that great, and the one that I had was like super old and kind of disgusting, so I wasn't able to try that fresh. But the clam chowder in the milk cold weather, specifically the freeze-dry one that needs to be rehydrated, is really, really good, and it has really interesting ingredients. It has like clams and shrimp and scallops and very extravagant like ingredients that you wouldn't expect to find in a military ration is in that one, and I really enjoyed that one a lot. I haven't had an MCW yet that I didn't like. I've liked them all. I think as a whole they're all better than MREs. MCWs are superior to MREs, and I think that's because Mountain House, that makes the mains for them, does a really good job of making tasty survival food. And that's really the main thing. But yeah, the clam chowder is the most interesting, at least, if not my favorite.
Let's see. Germs had some questions regarding your editing. How long does it usually take you?
Ooh.
And what editing software and mics do you typically use?
So I use DaVinci Resolve is what I edit with, and it's a very powerful program that is luckily free, so I don't have to spend any budget on it, since I'm like a no budget show basically. But it's really good editing software. Of course, I do all the editing myself, and I spend way too much time on it. The typical video, so a single meal ration video, takes me a minimum of about 3 hours just to edit. That doesn't take the time that I put in making the thumbnail, coming up with the description, or writing the title. All those things really matter for SEO reasons on YouTube. So on any given video, you're probably looking at least 5 hours of work separate from the filming time, which usually takes about an hour and a half or so. If I'm doing a 24-hour ration, you can basically multiply that by 3. So I've definitely spent, 16, even 18 hours getting one video together to upload when it's really long 24-hour ration, and it takes more time editing than anything, and it's a lot of work, but I wouldn't trust anybody else to do it and present myself the way I want to be presented. And also, I wouldn't have the money to pay anybody. I mean, the channel makes pennies. I make enough on the ad revenue to pay for rations, and that's about it. There's no money to go around. Even if I paid myself minimum wage to do the editing, the channel would be upside down after like one video. It would be impossible to be sustainable. So I have to edit myself, and that takes up a ton of time. As far as microphones go, that's really sad. So that's something we're going to upgrade here on the channel. I've been doing research for a good long while, and I want something that's going to be a good all-around mic. Not something super directional, but I also don't want something that's like super open either. I kind of want an in-between, and I don't know. My microphone situation right now sucks. It's just like, random crap that I've collected over the years. I want to get a really good microphone that is high value, but I'm still in the research stage. So if you guys have any suggestions for microphones that won't blow the bank but are also really good mics, let me know about those too, because I need some input, because I'm no microphone expert, that's for sure.
This one was more of a suggestion as well. Somebody suggested you do more live streams. Any thoughts on that?
So the live stream format gets me like really nervous. I'm not a natural public speaker, and that might be weird coming from a YouTuber, because a lot of what I do these days is talking to a camera. Like I said, I kind of hide behind the editing a little bit, so if I make a mistake, I can just fix it, no big deal. When we're live like this, you guys see every single mistake, and even though that doesn't bother most people, you don't care. I know if I'm watching someone and they make a little mistake, I mean, you just brush it off, it's no big deal, but it bothers me personally. So I get really stressed out before the live streams, but when we're actually in the heat of the live stream, like right now, I'm really enjoying it. So, and the great thing is, I just reviewed a meal. I went through it a little bit too fast, I think. You guys can let me know what you think about that. I mean, typically I would have spent an hour reviewing this meal. I think we got it reviewed in like 20 minutes or something. I don't even know. But I don't have to edit this video. That's like the best thing ever. It's so freeing to know that I don't have to spend all day tomorrow sitting at the computer editing. The video's already done, and you guys are seeing it now.
Mr. Sippy asked, do you do any dry freezing?
I don't have a freeze drying machine. Now, my, I guess, grandmother-in-law has a freeze dryer, but I've never had the opportunity to use it.
And Adam asked, would you ever collaborate with another reviewer?
I would certainly be open to collaboration. It's things I've done before. We've had little collabs on the channel before. Me and Smitty's done a couple things together. Me and Canadian Trucker CT's done some things together. John Magnum have done some things with him. It's really hard to kind of schedule those kind of things, but I'm always open to a collaboration with another reviewer. I love that kind of thing.
Let's see. Nation MRE Finds asked, will customs chill with rations anytime, do you think?
The whole customs thing is going to be a continued problem forever, I think. It's just the way the laws are here in the U.S. Outside meat is not allowed, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. I've been super lucky that I've never had anything picked up by customs. Now, Brazilian customs cut into my Brazilian ration, but they didn't take anything, and I guess that's because it was Brazilian customs and not U.S. customs, and that was a good thing. I guess maybe they thought that it had some kind of paraphernalia or something in there, and they were just checking to make sure that it is all legal things, but they didn't care what was going to the U.S., I guess. But I've been super lucky at dodging customs. I'm sure at some point I'm going to have a big ration order get snatched. I'm going to be super sad, and I'll make a video about it, but I hate it but I think that's just the way it's going to be moving into the future. I don't see that changing.
I hope I'm saying this right. It was Usty Surplus, USTY Surplus.
It's Rusty.
Okay, cool.
Rusty Surplus.
He's asking, at 100K subs, will you review the 50-year-old C ration?
100,000 subs is a long way off. I think we're on year 3 on this channel basically, and I'm just now making it to 10,000. Now, the way that subscriptions on YouTube work is typically the more you get, the more you continue to get. So it kind of has a parabolic effect where, you know, the channel growth or whatever. So I'm not saying it's impossible to hit 100,000, but I find it very unlikely that this channel ever hits 100,000 unless one of my videos just like blows up and goes super viral, which could happen, but also I doubt would ever happen because I just don't think that many people online care. Our niche, the ration review community, has one really big creator, Steve, 1989, of course, who is a great guy and a buddy of mine. But when you have a really big creator like that, that creator gets all the eyes. So it doesn't leave that much space in the algorithm, I think anyway, to really, you know, have other really big channels like that without someone just being exceptional. And no matter how hard I try, I will never be as good a reviewer as Steve is. I will also never have the money to spend on the very interesting, hard to find rations that he can get his hands on. And so even though we're not in competition, there's no way I could compete even if I wanted to. So I really doubt that we ever hit 100,000 subscribers, but I'm going to keep riding this thing until the wheels fall off, and we'll see how high we get.
Steve Turner asked, what is your favorite GI hack for modifying MRE snacks or sides? I know the Ranger Mocha is popular, but what is your pick? And he likes the combination of grape-flavored beverage mix dusted on cranberries.
I've heard the cranberries and grape mix thing before, but I've never tried it. I'm pretty basic, so I will make a Ranger pudding here and there, which, you take a cocoa beverage powder, which unfortunately has been discontinued, so those are getting fewer and far between. You basically only run into them in older rations these days. And peanut butter, maybe non-dairy creamer and some extra sugar, and mix that together, and it's a really nice, like, sort of frosting-like pudding consistency item. I do like making frosting, so if you get something like a chocolate shake or the older vanilla shakes, add a little bit of water to those, mix it up, and it will make like a frosting like thing that you can put on other confections like cookies and cakes and brownies. That's a really good hack to do and is super delicious. The mocha, coffee mocha is like probably my favorite though. So you just take a chocolate drink and add the instant coffee to it and enjoy. I'm not a huge coffee person by itself. I really love chocolate, and you mix the two together, I think they're a great combo.
Let's see here. This one's more of a compliment from Lance Revel. He said he's old, disabled, and housebound, so cannot camp or hike anymore. He used to do motorcycle, road trip, and camping. He enjoys watching various YouTube channels, and this one is his favorite ration channel, so that's really nice.
Well, I really appreciate that. I hate you can't get out and do things like you used to, but if I can bring you whatever little joy I do with my videos, that's very humbling. So thank you for the viewership.
And Leonard Givens asked, are there like any good rations for diabetics? Do you know anything about that?
Oof, that's tough. So in general, ration type items are very carbohydrate heavy. So, if you're a type 2 diabetic and you have really strict on what type of carbs you can take in for, blood sugar levels, rations can be a really hard sell in general. Now, if you're, the type of diabetic, I don't know what your situation is, that will have to use insulin, at that point you could, maybe eat something that you otherwise wouldn't be able to and then use the insulin to offset it. But in general, I can't think of a single ration right off the top of my head that is not like really carbohydrate based. Aside from that Polish one that I had recently, the 24-hour ration specifically had very little carbohydrate-heavy items. I don't think it had a dessert. The drinks have sugar in them, so those might be a problem, but the main entrees were, protein-based. I know too much protein is not the best thing either when you're diabetic, because protein can also be transferred to glucose in the body, I believe. I'm not an expert on these kind of things, but that's my understanding at least. Like, the body will will transform both carbohydrates and in some situations protein to sugars. Whereas like fat heavy items don't really do that, but fat and high fat things can also be bad for your overall health when you're diabetic. So I don't know. That's someone that has diabetes would probably know a lot more about being able to decide whether a ration would be okay for their diabetes than me, who's not a diabetic. Although my grandfather is a diabetic, so I do know a little bit.
DeCarlos Perry asked, it's not MRE related, but he wanted to know if we are sci-fi fans, specifically Star Trek. Not me.
Alright, so I'm not a big Trekkie. I really liked the original series of Star Trek. I've watched probably the whole thing. But I never really got into any of the other series. I'm much more of a Star Wars person. I know that would rage someone right away to even compare Star Trek to Star Wars. They're not really comparable. They're very different experiences. And I appreciate both, but I'm not a huge Trekkie. But I love sci-fi in general.
More Star Wars based. Let's see. We have somebody, Maurice, asked, how are the prices on rations today, and can you get Canadian?
Canadian rations are nearly impossible to get, not just in the U.S., but in Canada. Apparently right now they're really hard to get as well. I don't know if it's just they're not making that many of them, or they've really locked down on sort of like letting them escape the sort of military chain. In the past, I think they were more of the kind of item that kind of had to fall off a truck in order to like enter the market kind of thing, and things have sort of been a bit more strict. It does happen from time to time, but they're very expensive. I think a case of Canadian IMPs is like $300 now or something. It's a lot. I think the typical single Canadian ration is somewhere between like 30 and $50. Is a lot compared to a US MRE. But in general, the whole market is a lot more tough than it was when I got started. So I began my first channel in 2019, and back then, man, you could buy MREs all day long for like $8 or $10, and now the average MRE price is like $16 to $20, especially when you include shipping. So I guess that's everything, though. Inflation has gone through the roof the past few years, and rations right along with everything else, and it doesn't help that it seems like rations that were super abundant in the past are no longer that abundant either, which also drives price up.
Going back to the diabetic thing, Cliff Brott said he's a diabetic and he eats MREs, and Rusty Surplus says he's got to watch the salt. So
yeah,
it's possible. Let's see, and Roy McIntyre commented, he said, take several MREs and make a gourmet meal for two. That would be great to see.
What would you think about that?
I'd be into it. Light some candles and get some fancy MRE style.
Maybe we'll do like a special next year for like Valentine's or something.
Yeah.
We'll do like a couples MRE Valentine dinner. That sounds kind of fun.
As of right now, I don't think we have any more questions, but other people are saying they love your videos, lots of sweet stuff. I think that.
All right, so I guess we've knocked out most of the Q&A. I think it's time for another name draw. So let's try that out, and hopefully the system works this time. All right, maybe we can just hit the pick another winner. M. Tarkowski, 1006. Hope I said that right. See, he said, congratulations on 10,000. Which is your favorite MCW menu? Which I think we answered that earlier. So your question's already been answered. You are a winner of a Survivor Daily Ration. So please go ahead and send me an email, readinessreviews@gmail.com, and I will get back with you on that. And I figure, we're already here doing giveaways, so let's give away another one. Why not? We'll go ahead and pick another winner. I'm doing 3 in this video. Acharis, I think,
Yeah.
Perhaps. He just said congratulations. See you Saturday night. Hopefully you were in the chat.
Yeah, I saw them in the chat.
Yeah, so thanks for joining, and it looks like you are a winner as well. Once again, send me an email, readinessreviews@gmail.com. And I think 3 of those is enough for now. So, thanks so much for entering the giveaway. You will, of course, be receiving the Survivor Daily Ration along with some other things that I intend to send. Haven't really ironed out what those other items will be just yet, but anytime I'm going to do a giveaway, I'm going to make it worth your while, so it'll be a good package regardless. And I guess we're pretty much on the downslope here. As soon as the video's over, I'm going to sit down and finish off the rest of this because I am, although I've kind of picked at it, I'm actually still kind of hungry. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my dinner. I do want to say a huge thank you to all you guys. You don't understand how much it means to me that you take the time out of your day, your week, whatever, to check out any of my content. It is very humbling. I never expected in a million years to get 10,000 subscribers. And I'm going to keep pumping away at the channel and trying to grow it as much as I can, and hopefully over the next year or two we get another 10,000 if things continue to grow. I'm super appreciative to how much guys have been watching here recently. The past couple months have been great as far as channel growth goes, and if we can stay on that trajectory, I can really see the channel going places. And the bigger it gets, the more things I intend to do. So if you guys want to see those out in the field kind of videos and stuff, as the channel gets more self-sustainable, I really want to make those things happen. So, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone joining me tonight especially. And hopefully you stick around for the next 10,000 subscribers. And like I said, we got at least a year left of bi-weekly content, or actually weekly content. New video bi-weekly, an old video bi-weekly, which equates to a video every single week for at least another year. And hopefully you guys enjoy. I want to say a huge thank you to the guys that have stuck around to the end of the stream. I know this has been a long one, and I think that's enough Thanksgiving for now. I will catch you guys in the next video. See you then. Peace.